So first of all, thanks for showing up. You showing up to these deep dives shows that you're committed to becoming a better leader. Today, I want to have a conversation in and around 3 keys to becoming a best place to work. And we all know that Best Place to Work is an award that we can win either from Fortune or Glassdoor or from your local community. And those are great to have those awards. It shows that you're committed to making a difference in the businesses that you run and making a difference in the lives of your employees. But even if you don't win an award, I think the big thing I want you to come away from this next 30 minutes is, hey, will our employees, will we be able to capture their hearts and minds so that regardless of whether we win an award or not, they view us as the best place to work? Not only they view us as the best place to work, but what about their spouse or their family? Hey, that is a best place to work. So that's the aspect and that's the perspective that we're going to take today. All right, so let's talk about some workplace challenges. And in the chat, if you could, what are your top workplace challenges that you're experiencing right now? So just real quick in the chat, what are the top workplace challenges that you're experiencing? Oh, communication. Good. Yeah, hard to keep everyone focused. Hard to keep everyone engaged. Remote world. Yeah, people burned out. Priorities shifting. Yeah, right people in right seats. Distractions. Okay, so good. Look, I'm going to take you through what we're seeing as the top five workplace challenges. Oh, good. Also, we just had another one come in and really the external disruptions and things changing so fast in the world. So let's talk about the top 5 that we're seeing. We'll go 5 to 1. First off is remote work. Now, this has turned out to be a double-edged sword. Just recently, I was watching an interview where a senior McKinsey consultant was asked by someone, hey, when are we going to get back to more of how it was pre-COVID? And it was a great answer, one-word answer. She said, never. Now we have to deal and we have to live with remote work. But again, it is this double-edged sword. Here's why. 78% of HR professionals are saying that they need to be able to offer flexible schedules and remote working options. There are up to 75% of employees won't really look at a job unless you have some of these options. On the flip side of that, though, what they found is that the top reason that hybrid and remote workers leave, number 1, is they feel disconnected from the culture and the company. And one of the things that I think that we have to do a much better job of is how do we split culture away from the office? Culture is not a location, right? Culture is in the hearts of your employees, and regardless of where they're working, they should feel connected to that culture. So remote work, we're still all figuring it out. It's a huge experiment that's happening. And as we continue to learn more, we'll share that with the community. So that's one of the big challenges. Another challenge is really lack of leadership training. Now, managers who are lower level down potentially in your organization, they have a big impact on the employee experience. And what they've been taught is they've been taught to manage a process. They've been taught to manage productivity. And they did a really good job of doing that when they had everyone in the office. When we had to send everyone home to work from their kitchen table, it became a lot harder because there's a new set of skills that are needed today. And it's certainly important to be able to manage a process and productivity. But today, you need to become more of a coach, more of a mentor, more of a teacher. And so think about all your secondary level managers who, if you had 20 people, you pick the one that was doing the best in that area, you raised them up to be the leader, but then you didn't provide them the tools and best practices to coach, mentor, teach. And so it's really important that we get them the skills and the tools so they can be successful. So that's one of the big challenges that we're seeing right now. Recent statistic by Korn Ferry says that only 14% of leaders currently possess the new leadership skills and tools. Number 3 is the people are disengaged and they're burned out. These are the recent statistics from February from Gallup. And it used to be pre-COVID that there were only 14% of people who were fully disengaged. That's now risen to 18%. It went up one tick point more in February. There's another 50% who are apathetic. And these are the quiet quitters. They start work at 8, they're done at 5. They do what's minimally necessary to get the job done. And then we still have about one third who are feeling fully inspired and fully engaged. So we have to be very cognizant of this, because over 70% of people are not working from their optimal peak performance. And so think of all the missed opportunities that are happening because of that. So we're seeing the workforce be more disengaged and more burned out. Number 2 is it's really hard to attract and retain the best people. Now, last deep dive that we gave, we provided some statistics on the number of open jobs that were available and the number of people who were unemployed. At that time, it was 11.1 million open jobs and 6 million people unemployed. So there was a 5.1 million gap. And what that means is that employees have a lot of options. Now, just recently in April, the statistics came out and said that the number of open jobs dropped from 11.1 million, dropped down to 9.9 million. Now, there's still 6 million people who are unemployed. And so it's still an employee's market. And what I want you to think about is there's really no A players on the street right now that you can hire. So if you're trying to find other great people, you're going to have to look at where they're currently working and try to pry them away from that. And, you know, one question I ask senior leaders all the time is, who do you think in your company, of the 300 employees you have, who do you think in your company is currently on the job market? And the typical answer I get is like, oh, you know, maybe 40 or 50 people. And what I share with them is that everyone is on the job market today. And so it's really important that we're connecting with every single employee, because the cost of losing an employee, it's just massive. You know, it's 50 to 100% of the person's annual salary to replace someone. So attracting and retaining, it's a real challenge right now. And then the number one thing that we're seeing is that employees aren't fully connected to the company culture. So we have our first poll this morning. I'm just going to put it up on the screen. What percentage of people in the recent Gallup statistic, what percentage of US workers don't or feel a strong connection to their company's culture? What percentage of workers? Okay, so we have this. Okay, good. What percentage of US workers feel a strong connection to their company's culture? Okay, so I apologize, we don't have this correct in here. Only 20% of employees feel a strong connection to their company culture. And what that means is that 80% of employees today are not working at their peak optimal performance. Now, I looked this up. There's 161 million people, and Anja, you can share the results if you want to. There's 161 million people who are working in the United States today. And think about it, 80% of those, turns out to be 129 million people, are not operating from their peak performance. Now, you might say, hey, we don't have 161 million people, but just think about your specific business. If you have 100 employees, that means that 80 employees don't feel a strong connection to the company culture. Think of all the missed opportunity for your employees, because when they have a strong connection to the company culture, they're less likely to feel stressed out. They're more likely to have higher levels of resilience. And think about how that translates to their experience at work, but also think about how it translates to experience at home and with their family. So I think we're having a big missed opportunity here. And the reason we're so passionate about this is because we know it doesn't have to be that way. All right. So let me remove the polls from the screen. All right, so it's 80%. 80% don't feel a strong connection to their company culture. So those are the 5 big challenges that we're seeing with companies. And now I want to shift over to, hey, what are the things that I can do, Mark? What are the things that I can really take a look at? And I'm going to talk to you about 3 keys to becoming a workplace of choice. And again, if you win the award, fantastic. But if you have every single employee saying, hey, we have a best place to work, then you're gonna really work. All right. So number 3, we're going to start backwards. Communicate. Do your employees have clear expectations? And do they understand how what they do today connects to making a difference in the world? So one of the things that we want you to focus on is your meeting structure. Now, Forbes recently came out and they did a study, and they found out that the #1 ingredient for teams being extremely agile is that they are communicating constantly. Now, the meeting structure that we think about, and it's very simple to do, is a daily meeting and a weekly meeting. And what this provides for your team members who are in those meetings, it provides them the opportunity to every single day feel that they are part of a team, feel that they have a shared purpose, feel that they have a sense of belonging. And as we know, when we have our tribe, we know that there's safety in numbers. So that's probably one of the big benefits that comes out of it. Number 2 is in the meeting structure, we recommend that everyone go around the room and just talk about their vision for the day. And so what this does is it sets clear expectations and it sets the priorities for what success looks like that day. When people talk about their clear expectations and their vision for the day, then there's also a lot of coordination that can happen, and people can make those coordinations right there in the same place at the same time. Now, to make the meeting really powerful, we recommend that you rotate the meeting leader. Now, there's tremendous benefits that come out of this. Number 1 is you teach everyone how to be a leader. That's number 1. Number 2 is you're able to practice decision-making. As a team, you're able to practice this. Now, the team down at Charlton Brock Architects, what they shared with us was that they've been on the platform and using the daily meeting structure and the weekly meeting structure for 18 months pre-COVID. And so what Gary Brock shared with me was, he said, hey, Mark, we already had the system and the framework set up, and it turns out that COVID was just another disruption that we had to deal with. So they were prepared to be able to do that. So the daily meeting helps you to really get ready and practice decision-making. Number 3 is we find that humans really mimic each other. So as an example, if I'm running the meeting today and I present in a certain manner, other people that are in that meeting then get to see how I've presented that. And a lot of times we start mimicking each other, and then we get to the best version of what works for that specific company. And then finally, we've heard over and over again that having the daily meeting and rotating the leader is helping to foster and push forward people's DEIB programs. And it's because everyone gets a chance to lead the meeting, and they get to lead it in their specific voice. So meeting structure is highly important. Number 2 is it's about delegating decision-making. How do you push decision-making down? Now, you've heard us say this in the past. The companies that are going to win today are the ones that make the most smart decisions the fastest. People don't want to be micromanaged. People just want to share their vision of where they're going to get to. And then your role is to help them understand any resources that might need. You're to help them get those resources, and then you're to help them remove any roadblocks that come along the way. People are seeking autonomy, and it's been shown very clearly that there's a direct linkage to empowering people with things that you used to do and pushing those decision-making down, and that engaging employees. It has a direct impact to people feeling higher levels of engagement. So what's the quick tool that you can use? It's really simple. Just ask a question back. So as an example, if I get asked a question by someone and they say, Mark, I'm looking at these 3 different options. Should we go with A or B or C? Now, if I know that B is the right answer, I don't answer with B. I ask them a question back. What do you think? What do you think our choice should be? Now, if the person comes back and says, I think it's B, that tells me very clearly and very directly that they don't fully understand the framework of which to make that decision. And then you can have a conversation on that. Now, if they say C, then you would ask another question. What factors did you take into account to choose C? And I've had this happen probably 20% of the time, that C was the right answer based upon them knowing more factors than I knew about that decision. So this is really simple. Just start this. To start delegating decisions, just ask a question back. All right, the other thing I want to talk to you about is just making sure that you're leveraging technology. The speed of business has sped up so fast. We have people, 50% of our workforce is working in a hybrid remote environment. We need to be able to leverage technology, things like Slack or Teams or Lead with Purpose, to help make sure as things shift and as things adjust, that we're able to communicate at speed with each other. So communicate, those are the 4 areas or 3 areas that I'd like you to look at. Meeting structure, you can see the benefits that come out of that. Make sure you're delegating decision-making, and then make sure you're also leveraging technology. All right, let's move to number 2. 2 is care. Do your employees feel cared for? And there's 4 areas that I want to touch upon here. And let's do a quick poll. Anja can put the poll up. We have 2 questions for you here. What's the number 1 reason people left their job in 2022? What's the number 1 reason? And then we have down below too, there's a second question there. What's the second reason why people left their job in 2022? So just get some information, get some feedback from you. What's the number 1 reason? What's the number 2 reason that people left their job?
Just waiting on a couple more people. Maybe another 5 seconds. All right, and I'll end the poll and share those results to everyone. So we're sharing now.
Okay. Yes, so the number 1 reason actually people left their job in, believe it or not, the number 1 reason is actually pay. Pay. Now, I want to make sure you understand this. There's actually a study that was done and says if an employee feels strongly connected to their company culture, someone else would have to offer them 25% higher pay than what they're currently getting paid for the employee to think about that. So, but pay was the number 1 reason why people left their job in 2022. And I do know that there were some people who were able to get higher pay than 25%, but I know a lot of people left their job just for a 10 or 15% raise. So it's really important that we take care of the pay challenge. Number 2 is the second highest reason. Let me just move up here. The second highest reason turned out to be lack of growth opportunities. Lack of opportunities to be personally, to be professionally developed. And so those are the two big reasons. Let me get rid of that off the screen. Okay, so we talked about this. There's a study done by SHRM, and it said that 63% of employees feel that if they're compensated fairly and correctly, that actually contributes to them feeling cared for and them feeling valued. So again, it's really important that we take care of this. Take care of people being compensated correctly. And then growth opportunities. 87% of millennials stated that having growth opportunities is highly important for them in their job. A couple other statistics to share with you is that people who stayed with their job, they received on average an 8% pay increase. And people who switched jobs, they received an additional 8%. So they received a 16% increase. So that's what I'm talking about with people not feeling fully connected to their current job and feeling that purpose. People are leaving for way less than a 25% increase in pay. All right, easy things that you can do for growth opportunities, because we complicate this too much. But one of the things is to be able to take a look at professional coaching. So for your key managers and leaders who are in your company or your upcoming leaders, How can you get them some professional coaching? And this can be 90-day professional coaching, could be 6 month, 1 year, but think about a way to accelerate them on their leadership learning development ladder. Number two is, this is really simple. Just read a professional book together. And I'll share with you how you can easily do that. Number three is take an online course. There's a lot of courses that we have in our library. There's courses in Coursera, and you can find courses all over the internet. Provide a fund or some fees so that people can choose the course that they want to take. And then finally, just make sure that you're providing feedback to employees. They want to hear from you. What am I doing really well? Where do I need to get better? And each of us as leaders, we need to get better also being more of a coach, a mentor, and a teacher. All right, so this is an image of our university that's inside the Lead with Purpose platform. And we have a series of books that are in there. We have some of the best TED videos that you're going to watch. And also we have our courses. And then in our app online, you can see that this is very easy for people to do, is just be able to read a book. And we've cut that book up in all the different page segments. So make sure you're providing growth opportunities. All right, so what's the value of a recognition? What's the value of a recognition? It's said that 82% of employees don't feel that they're being recognized enough. Let me share with you a couple statistics from Global Force. Now, they wanted to know the impact that recognitions had on the statement of an employee saying the culture is fun and enjoyable. So when they talked to companies, the companies where employees were never recognized, 53% would say the culture is fun and enjoyable. If the employees had been recognized once in the last month, it went up to 61%. Recognized within 3 to 5 months, it went up to 74%. Recognized within 1 to 2 months, went up to 84%. And then a staggering 88% just being recognized once a month. So a recognition is really powerful. Here's a couple other. Believe that the company cares for them. Goes from 50% of never recognized, goes all the way up to 87%. Let me get out of the way here a little bit. And then believe that we are a best place to work. Goes from 57% to 91%. Now you get all three of these if you just recognize your employees once a month. So recognitions on a daily basis are extremely powerful. And we've made it really simple inside of our app. You can just click in the app. We have the entire framework that you need to tell a very strong story. And then we have an entire feed where people can like and comment on those recognitions. So we've tried to put it online so you can have your culture building online also. Okay, then finally, people feel cared for when they have one-on-ones. Harvard Business Review study said that regular one-on-ones are able to establish a lot of trust and a lot of psychological safety. Now, a great attribute of a one-on-one, if you're holding this, and it's 15 to 20 minutes long, if you're speaking only 10% of the time, if you're giving a one-on-one, then you're giving a great one-on-one. You should be 90% of the time listening. All right, so those are the 4 areas that we take a look at from CARE. It's compensation, growth opportunities, recognitions, and one-on-ones. All right, let's go to the final piece here. And this is the number one thing that leaders need to do today. We need to connect. Are your employees connected to the story? Now, I want to share with you a book that I've been reading. Fantastic book. If you get a chance, get an opportunity to read it. It's called The Empathy Advantage. Just came out last month, and by Heather McGowan and Chris Shipley. But in there, she has a little story that I think is really relevant. It's from a Stanford University psychologist. And this is the story. He says, I once asked a dentist friend of mine how important flossing really is. Not that important, he replied. You only need to floss the teeth that you want to keep. And look, I get asked this all the time. Hey, Mark, I'm paying people a wage. I'm giving them benefits. I'm allowing them to work remotely. Like, is it really that important that people are connected to the purpose? And maybe I should say, hey, it's not that important. It's only important for the people that you want to keep. So are your employees connected to the inspiring story? And these connections should be fostered every single day. Now, the inspiring story, we say it is your brand purpose or your mission statement, your top 5 values, and then your blue sky vision. On the screen right now, you're seeing our one-page alignment plan on the platform online, and we have those clearly and succinctly detailed there for you. And again, it's about making sure that you're flossing all of your teeth and you're keeping people connected to the purpose and to the inspiring story. All right, one of the things that we have for you, if you don't have this clearly defined, is the platform online. You can create your own inspiring story, and we have where you can sign up for free, access the university, and we've opened up the first couple of courses to help you start developing your story, and we've opened those up for free. So if you want to take a look at that, you should definitely take advantage of that. Now, why is it important to have engaged employees? This is just what the rowboat looked like for one of our clients. In October 2021, when we started working with them, we did a study, and they had 50% of people rowing really hard. They had 30% that were apathetic, and they had 20% that were rowing in the wrong direction. Going through the Lead with Purpose framework and going through the entire process, just 6 months later, they retook the engagement scores at their company and redid it. And this is what happened. They were able to go to 80% people rowing really hard and only 20% apathetic. Now, what's key about this is some people might say, well, those 20% who are rowing in the wrong direction initially, they probably left the company. No one left the company. We just got really clear and connected people to the inspiring story of the company. They just retook it in March of 2023, and now you can see fantastic results. They have 90% of people strongly connected and strongly aligned to the company culture. The impact from October of 2021 to March of 23, $191,000, and that's annually. So that's why it's really important to make sure that you connect people to the mission and you have engaged employees. All right, so that's it. Number 1, connect people to the mission. Once you connect them to the mission, you open up their hearts and they're going to invite discipline in. Number 2, make sure you're taking care of the things that show that you care for them. Compensation, take care of that. Growth opportunities, simple things you can do. Make sure you're recognizing them and make sure you're doing one-on-ones. And then finally, make sure you have the systems and the framework set up so that you can communicate at speed, you can delegate decision-making, and highly recommend that you leverage technology. All right, I talked about the leadership culture platform, everything in one place to create and sustain a world-class culture. Best part of it, it's free. So Anja will probably drop it in the chat for you, or you can go to leadwithpurpose.com and you can sign up. All right, so some exciting announcements that we have. And before we actually get there, we have a couple minutes here, but any questions? I want to open up for questions. What questions do you have on talking about the 3 C's that we need to focus on to become a best place to work? Any questions that you have? Yeah, so the meeting structure. Yeah, so the meeting structure. There's a daily meeting, and if you've tried daily meetings before, it says that you've tried daily meetings. But if there's and you've tried that structure, we have a totally different structure that's built out of my time and experience in the U.S. Nuclear Submarine Force. So if you're interested in learning more about that, we found it to be very impactful. It's very succinct. You get professional training in, you set your vision for the day, and then you share recognitions. All right, one more. Recognitions, yeah. So the app to use online, the app is free to use online. So I want to highly recommend that you take advantage of that. You can start using it for yourself. And then as you add more people, you can see what the investment's going to be for you. All right, so that's fantastic. Hey, I'm super excited to announce our next Fast Attack Bootcamp. Now, this is a 2.5-day experience where you get to change the course of your company. And you can bring your entire leadership team. We're going to hold it this time in Orlando, Florida, September 17th through 19th of 2023. If you want to learn more about the Fast Attack Bootcamp, I'm going to talk to you about some interesting pieces as we come on. Anja, you're on here right now. You're going to say something?
Oh yeah, no, I'm just pulling in for the announcements portion of it.
Okay, awesome. Well, yeah, definitely help me out here if I'm missing something. So we're super excited. We're going to have this be a great experience again. And we're going to build on a lot of the lessons that we learned from our boot camp just 2 weeks ago. The feedback's been fantastic, and we just keep building it to be better and better. All right, so the ticket price, if you're coming for the first leader, is $6,500, and then each additional team members, $1,500. So you can bring a team of 6 to the boot camp for $15,000. And then we have other options if you want to learn more about them. But we do have our early bird special. This is through May 31st. If you know that you're going to come, take advantage of this. So we're going to give you a 10% off on this, but need to be paid in full by May 31st. Take advantage of that early bird special. Now, if you do want to learn more about what's happening with the boot camp, hey, Mark, I don't quite understand this. We're running a behind the scenes, and Liesl Kohler, our Senior Vice President of Sales, is going to pull back the curtain on what happens at boot camp, going to talk about the structure of it, and then we're going to share with you what the results of other attendees have been. We'll probably have some guests on there who have attended boot camp. So if you want to learn more about it, May 3rd, it's going to be 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific. And we can drop the link. Anja's already dropped the link in if you want to grab your ticket. Now, it's free to attend this, and we'd love to have you if you're interested in learning more about Fast Attack Bootcamp. Finally, this has been a dream of mine for years to be able to do, but I'm excited to announce that we're launching our Surfacing Leaders podcast. Now, we're going to debut in May of this next month. And what I'm excited about is that during my life and all of my experiences, I found that leadership exists in the places that we never even thought. And so the podcast is going to focus on leadership in places where we don't think it's really happening, and then be able to surface that and be able to bring that to the entire community, because we can all learn how to be a better leader from other people's experiences. So excited about that. More details coming on that soon. All right, Anja, we're finishing up here. Looks like I'm 2 minutes over. Anything else?
No, that's it. I dropped those links to the boot camp if you want to learn more information about it. And then please come to the behind the scenes with Liesl. It's a great place to just learn more about what boot camp is about, and you can ask additional questions there too. So both of those in the chat for you guys to register and learn more information on. And we're excited to be debuting the podcast. That's it. Mark, anything else for you?
No, that's it. Again, thanks so much for making the time, taking the effort to come to this. 30 minutes, we want to make this very powerful for you, so you can take 1 or 2 or 3 things away. If you do have any questions on some of the things that we talked about, you can reach out to us. But now it's time for you to go out and make it a great day.